Hi, guys. I'm Marie,
And I'm Maddie.
and we are here recording Lost in the Woods.
Yep.
Yeah, hopefully everybody's doing well. We are trying to get some recording done because Maddie is heading off to Minnesota, and we are probably not going to have our episodes out on time this month.
No. I would like to formally apologize because it is my fault and my mother is completely stressed out about it. Is that the day we were supposed to record all of our episodes, we were gonna sit down and have like a pretty big recording day. I got sick. I got pukey sick. Like flu,
Gross.
like
Yeah, we don't need to talk
bad.
about it. Yeah.
Like could not sit here and talk into a microphone type of sick. So
Yeah, so she leaves today, and we literally have like very limited time. And yeah, we don't know what's going to happen. So yeah.
we do apologize. I'm so sorry. It's all my fault. Hate me for it. Don't hate my mother. It's literally me.
Uh, Go back and listen to things you haven't listened to, like find some way to
Go be a
entertain yourself. Yeah,
Patreon.
go be a Patreon.
I'm really sorry. I apologize. I apologize.
Although our Patreon episode won't be ready in time either,
No.
and will also be late.
Yeah. It was really unfortunate that we weren't able to record because
Well, and it's funny because we could have done it a few days ago, but obviously we didn't know that Maddie was going to get sick. And so we had it.
how could you guess that?
I know.
Could you
We had it
guess?
like on the calendar, like we're going to sit down on this day, we're going to record. I think we had like 3 or 4 things to record, and then it all just went to hell in a
Yeah.
handbasket.
So, yeah, here we are about like an hour before I have to leave.
Yeah.
Recording some
Yay!
stuff. So,
All right. Well, I guess we should probably get into it then. So today we are going to be talking about Serenity Dennard. And Serenity is a 9-year-old girl who on February 3 of 2019 would run away from Black Hills Children's Home in Rapid City. Now, this is a residential youth treatment and is in some of the most rugged and remote terrain in South Dakota. The facility is located near Rockerville in Pennington County, and she had actually been there since July of 2018 and was expected to be there for 14 months. So this is an inpatient 14-month program where they provide counseling, medication, all of the things for your child that is either out of control or needs a little mental health help.
okay, and she's 9.
She's 9. Yeah. That's really young to be at a place like this, I feel like.
Yeah.
They do have round-the-clock security and counseling at this facility. And the day that Serenity would run away, it was a very cold Sunday morning because it's February.
Cold.
A woman and her granddaughter were actually leaving the facility and saw Serenity running near the gate to the road. She backed up and went back to the building where she notified a cook that there was a girl running away. He did have a walkie-talkie, but this walkie-talkie was on the wrong channel. So, and this is a cook, right? This isn't like one of the security or one of the counselors. This is like a cook in the kitchen. But the fact that his radio is on the wrong channel delays notification. The woman and her granddaughter then drove back out to the road, and by this time, Serenity was gone. She was no longer visible on the road. So she would have either had to have been picked up immediately or run into the woods.
Both possibilities.
Mm-hmm. Now, at this time, there is 15 staff members and 37 children at the facility.
Okay. 37. About half that amount in staff.
Right. So, I mean, that's like 2 to 3 children, a staff member. Sounds reasonable to me.
Sounds like chaperoning and field trips.
Yeah. I don't know, some of those damn field trips, man, because I always volunteer for my kids' field trips. And some of those field trips, I have like 6 or 7 kids, and I'm like, what in the actual fuck is going on? Like, I cannot handle this many children. Please, somebody take some of them away. I might not be the best chaperone. I don't know.
It's fine. At least you're not the chaperone that led their group of children through the sex toy part of the exhibit for Pompeii.
Oh, no. Jesus.
Because
I
there was
was
like
on that
a
field trip.
there was like a part that had like all their like adult toys and like just different things that they like inappropriate things that they had from Pompeii.
Huh.
But the field trips don't walk through that part. You walk like the opposite direction through a different hallway to the gift shop. And one of the moms led their kids through, led their
That's
group
funny.
of kids through
That was a
that.
good field trip, actually. I
It
like that
was.
one. That was a good exhibit. So Serenity had actually been in the gym where she had been playing with 3 other children and 2 staff members. So there's 3 kids and 2 staff members in this gym. And when she ran from the gym, she actually ran north towards the rural road and was last seen walking north on Rockerville Road. So this is where the grandma and the granddaughter saw her walking. She only had a 3 to 5 minute head start before the first group of adults began looking for her.
Okay, so she got a little bit of a head start, but like a little bit of
A little bit of a head start. I feel like 3 to 5 minutes isn't that long. And if the witnesses hadn't seen her, it could have been longer.
Yeah.
So this happens around 11 a.m. And Serenity had actually schemed with another girl to distract the staff. So one of the girls ran from the gym, like took off running out of the gym. And one of the staff members chased her while the other stayed behind with the other children. At this point, Serenity then runs the opposite direction out one of the doors, and the remaining staff member cannot chase her because there's still children there. So they can either chase Serenity or stay there with the kids that are in the gym, and they actually stay there. So, and I think the other child who ran off just went into the main building. They didn't like take off anywhere, like into the woods or anything like that. They just like were literally distracting the staff member.
That's hilarious. That's good stuff right there.
I know. Sounds like something Cadence would do.
It definitely sounds like something Cadence would do. This sounds like your other child.
I know. Now, when notified, the staff immediately started searching for her. They called this supervisor who told them to search for 15 minutes and then to call the police. So make sure she's not like hiding around the building or whatever, and then call the police if you don't find her. But when she arrived 80 minutes later, the police still had not been called. So she then notified the police.
80 minutes? 80 is not 15.
No, it's not. And I don't know how often children take off running or hide at a facility like this.
I would say, how often does a 9-year-old run from a facility like this?
Right. I mean, I don't know. But if this is something that happens on a regular basis and the child is usually hiding somewhere on the premises, I still feel like 80 minutes is a long time to not call the police.
I agree. I think 80 minutes is it's a 9-year-old. That's a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened to your 15 minutes of searching?
Well, and also not only that, but how far away are the police from this establishment? Like, it's going to take them a while. And maybe that's part of it, right? Like, maybe in past incidents, they've called the police, and by the time they get there, the child's been found. I mean, I don't know.
Better safe than sorry, though.
100%. Get them on their way regardless. Yeah.
Okay, so according to her adoptive parents, Chad Dennard and Darcy Gentry.
Right, because if we didn't mention, Serenity was adopted. So these are her adoptive parents, but we are going to just refer to them as her parents from here on out.
So they adopted her and they already had 2 kids. She was given up by her birth parents. She was the 4th child born to her mother and the first to her father, and her 3 older siblings had already been adopted by other families by the time that she was born. Jeez. She was described by her cousin as happy and an artistic baby.
Yeah, kind of a weird description. But so her cousin, her blood cousin from her birth parents, did like an interview about Serenity and said that Serenity never had any of the issues that she had until she went into foster care.
That messes you up, so.
Right?
Foster care can be a very, very unfun place to be in.
Yeah, well, and her birth mother ended up going to prison for shoplifting, and her dad was charged with grand theft. So
I
both
swear
parents.
to God, did you not just want to say Grand Theft Auto?
I did. I did want to say Grand Theft Auto.
I literally watched
I don't even play video games.
I literally watched it on your face. You almost said it.
Yeah. Now,
That was good shit.
Yeah. Now, his mother was taking care of Serenity, but CPS got involved and she was taken into their care. So Serenity is staying with her birth father's mom while mom and dad are going through the legal system, we'll say. And something happens. I believe that there was some sort of like mental breakdown of her grandma, like something happened. And that's why CPS got involved. And Serenity ends up going through more than a dozen foster homes. And at some point in this process, she is diagnosed with reactive detachment disorder. And this condition prevents people from feeling secure with familiar relationships. So once they get comfortable in an environment, they start to feel like they need to leave. They start to feel like unsettled and insecure, which is so sad.
I feel like that sounds like a common issue for. That sounds like something that would happen to you in foster care.
100%. Yep. I think it also happens to children who are not held enough.
Which really fucks you up.
Yeah.
For no good reason.
Yeah.
Not being held enough as a baby fucks you up as an adult. That's insane to me.
Yeah. She was also diagnosed with disruptive mood dysregulation, and this would make her have severe mood swings, up, down, all around.
Yeah.
So she was adopted when she was 3.5, and this was after being in foster care for 2 years and being in about 12 homes.
Okay. I do know that like foster care is like it can mess you up real bad.
Yeah.
I do know that. But how could that cousin even know if she didn't have any of those problems?
I know,
beforehand?
because she was so young.
She's so young.
I know. Yeah. Those type of problems don't usually
Start until later anyway.
Right. Exactly.
But who knows if they came from foster care or if she was born with them or whatever. But I don't know how the cousin could have known.
Right. Yeah.
Like, oh, this little like what? She was in the foster care for 2 years. She's adopted at 3.5. So she's like
1 basically when she goes
Yeah.
into foster care. Yeah. Her adoptive parents said that she did struggle with some of her issues, but that she gave the best hugs and was always energetic. The couple would split up and all 3 children would live with their dad. He would remarry and have another child. And Serenity had on many occasions run away from her family home in Sturgis. And she would actually like get rides from strangers. Like she would hitchhike, like she would get rides home from strangers. Like it got to a point where they felt like it was a dangerous situation.
that sounds like in what year is this?
This is when she's like 8.
No,
8 or
what
9.
year? What year are we? What year
Oh,
is
like
she 8?
2019.
What the are you kidding me?
No.
She's hitchhiking?
She's like, yeah, it's like, this is current, you guys. It's not like in
This
the
is the
70s.
current, okay.
Yeah. And this would be one of the reasons that she was placed in the children's home in Rapid City. And along with the running away, she also had worsening behaviors and instability in relationships with the other children in the house. And they believed that there was potential for self-harming as well.
So in 2019, this is irrelevant. In 2019, the 56% of the children who left foster care were reunited with families or relatives, and only 26% were adopted. Also, the adoption, 36% of those adoptions are also relatives. So most kids getting out of foster care are getting out of foster care via relatives.
Right. Yep. I think that's kind of the trend anyway, that they always try to reunite with family or place with family.
Mhm.
Now, one of the problems that they ran into with Serenity, and we'll talk about this a little more at the end, is that a lot of her blood relatives lived out of state.
Okay.
So if a child is in foster care and they want to place that child with a relative that's out of state, it becomes a lot harder to reunite that child with their parents who, like when they get out of jail or when they get their parental rights back or whatever that process looks like. But when it comes to adoption, the goal is usually always to try to adopt them out to family, which Serenity's family from her birth parents say that there was a bunch of them willing to take her, but for some reason that didn't happen. So
Weird.
it seems like kind of a weird situation. Now, a week before her escape from the children's home, she had already attempted to run away. And she was placed on arm's length only, which is protocol for a runner. But for some reason, she had been taken off of this just days before February 3, when she runs away again. So she gets off of this like arm's length only, where it means that she has to be within arm's length of like somebody's assigned to her. And she was taken off of this protocol, probably waited to get taken off of this before running away again. Yes. So the road is searched, the grounds are searched, the buildings are searched, the woods around the buildings are searched, and none of the initial search teams find anything. Searchers would continue searching for Serenity until 10 p.m. that night, and it would snow, and temperatures would drop to freezing levels. Police also went door to door asking everyone if they had had any contact with Serenity and to see if anyone behaved strangely when asked, things like that. But nobody had seen her at all. Not one person had seen her. And when Serenity ran off, she was wearing a long-sleeved gray shirt with flowers on it, jeans, and black snow boots. She did not even have a coat on.
Freezing temperatures?
Yeah. And she has no coat.
Freezing temperatures, no coat.
Right.
Okay. 9-year-old.
Yep.
South Dakota. Got it.
She's about 4'9" and weighs around 90 pounds. She has blonde hair and blue eyes. Her father said that she was adept at planning and executing her runaways and actually enjoyed watching people look for her. And he thought that maybe she might have stayed out of sight of the searchers trying to conceal herself and maybe wandered too far into the woods and gotten lost. The following day, searches would ramp up and an endangered alert was issued. More than 100 volunteers showed up, and the search would include more than 1,200 people covering 4,500 miles of woodland. The fire department alone would log 63 days at 375 miles. The search would go on for months, yielding no sign of Serenity. And by January of 2020, all efforts had basically come to a halt. More than 65 agencies used scent and cadaver dogs. Aircrafts were used, thermal devices were used. They also followed up on 220 leads and 465 interviews were done, including about 100 people from the children's home that had come into contact with Serenity during her stay at the home. And when they initially brought the scent dogs in, they were able to follow her scent to the gate where the witness had seen her, and that was it. No other scent of her was picked up.
It has snowed, though, already.
Well, exactly. Yeah. The no jacket thing just really, like, fucking stresses me out.
So there had been no sign of abduction or foul play in this case. But how could you have proof? You don't know what happened. There's just no sign of anything.
There's no sign. That's the thing. There's no evidence in either direction to suggest anything.
So cadaver dogs were able to pick up a scent, but whether or not it was Serenity's was undetermined.
Right, because
how would they know?
Yeah, and it didn't lead to anything either.
So they actually brought in a water rescue team and searched the river where the dogs showed interest.
Right, and I actually watched this video. They have there's a small video of this, the searchers, and the river's frozen. And they come in with tools like sledgehammers. They break up the ice, and they're literally wading waist high in some of this river area, searching.
Freezing.
Yeah, freezing cold water, trying to find any sign of her. But again, nothing is found. This just stresses me out. The dominant theory is that Serenity perished in the woods from exposure. And when you look at the map, it's crazy. You can see where everybody went. They have the tracker on them. And it just looks like they cover every inch of this wooded area. But if you think about it, Serenity is very small. If she curled up and tried to take shelter, it would be impossible to find her unless you are right on top of her.
Yeah. If I go missing in the woods, no one's finding me. Don't even come looking.
Yeah, Maddie's too small.
I'm hiding in something. I'm going to freeze to death, so I'm going to crawl into the smallest possible confined place I can to hide from the elements. And you're never going to find me. It's not going to happen. I will probably actually dig a hole and sleep in a hole before I sleep on the bare ground.
What are you going to dig a hole with, Maddie?
My hands.
You have your shovel out there when you're lost in the woods?
Yeah, I'm going to have my shit
You
shovel.
could use your shit shovel. Okay. Speculation starts to go crazy. And I feel like this happens every time something is unsolved because people want answers, they want closure. And her adoptive mother is actually accused of being involved with Serenity's disappearance. Although she's at work when Serenity goes missing. And her father's then accused of giving her a phone to aid her in her escape, which I've never been able to verify if she did have a phone or not. I doubt it. But he had been there visiting her the day before, as he did every single week. So I don't know. I think people are just jumping to conclusions. But he actually said that she seemed to be doing okay. But I'm assuming that she seemed to be doing okay because she had this plan already in place to take off. Now, the Vanished podcast actually interviews a few of the family members. So they interview her adoptive dad. They interview a cousin from her birth family. They interview a few people, right? It talks a lot about the system and the state and her placements, and it was a bit long. There was a lot of interviews. There was a lot of blame put on the foster care system, on the adoption system, on all of these things, which I think are completely irrelevant to finding Serenity. So I did not listen to a lot of it, but...
Yeah, because you can talk about how messed up the foster care system is all day long, but that's not going to help find her.
So I get that there's frustration out there from probably her entire family on how this school handled it or how this children's home handled it, how everything was handled, but I don't think that's going to help. But if you want to hear those interviews or you want to hear more information about that, you can definitely check that out. I think that they have a ton of episodes on this case. Now, her biological family thinks it's a strong possibility that she was taken and is not in the woods. That's kind of their dominant theory, which could be clinging to hope, could be that she is. I mean, we really don't know. Police and her adoptive family seem to believe that she is somewhere in those woods. Police also do not believe that any of her family played a role in her disappearance. So they don't think the father assisted or the mother had anything to do with it. They don't think that the birth parents had anything to do with it. Like, none of the family is a suspect in this case. I will say, too, in 2019, the year that she went missing, 1,953 children were entered into the NCIC for South Dakota's missing persons. And of those, 1,936 were canceled. So children found, case solved, whatever happened. That leaves 17 missing children in 2019.
Dang.
Which kind of seems like a lot to me.
That is quite a few, I feel like.
Assuming that these stats are accurate, that seems like a lot of missing children to me. In January 2020, a former state senator from Rapid City posted on social media that she had inside information that 10-year-old Serenity Dennard was spotted in Washington. Pennington County Sheriff's Office said that posting sensitive information on social media can compromise missing persons cases and is irresponsible. They said that the Pennington County Sheriff's Office should be the only source where information comes from. They said whether someone thinks their information is credible, giving out specific information on a missing person via social media can give a perpetrator information that law enforcement is coming and can compromise a case, such as Serenity's. They continued by saying, "They are irresponsible comments. I'm disappointed that somebody would take potentially confidential investigative information and feel the need to go out on social media and tell the world that if we're going to look for a particular person in a particular place that, hey, we're coming to look for you." I think it's just irresponsible, and I'm not going to confirm where we are going or not going in terms of our investigative leads. And this came from Sheriff Tom. Now, after being called out, Lynn, who's the name of this former state senator, said, "Last night in my live, I reported a Serenity lead in Washington state. I am aware that Cassandra Dennard, Serenity's stepmom, is on social media disputing this information as untrue. I have received this information directly from a source close to the investigation and stand by my statement 100%. Like, seriously, like,
Who do you think you are?
it doesn't matter if your information is credible.
I
Like,
don't
you
care.
are giving information out that
On
shouldn't be
social
out
media.
there. Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
So say this.
Obviously, Lynn is not. What was she? What?
She's a former state senator.
Obviously, she's not a state senator anymore for a good goddamn reason.
Well, here's the thing. Say it is a legitimate sighting. Say they are going to check out this sighting
Serenity
in Washington.
sees it. She's gonna run if she's running, or whoever has her.
Or if she was kidnapped and somebody's holding her, right? They're gonna know
Flee
now.
the state.
Seriously.
Stupid Lynn.
What are you doing?
What is wrong with you, Lynn? Think about your actions,
and
Lynn.
for what though?
Clout for trying to get reelected as state senator, where you got unelected for some reason. Obviously, for being a freaking moron.
You know, you don't have to get unelected. Your term can just end.
Okay, obviously she wasn't reelected though.
True.
Who knows if she was unelected? Maybe she was impeached.
Some of them have like caps on them too, but yeah, we don't know. I don't really care why Lynn is not the state senator anymore, but maybe trying to get attention on social media and possibly compromising a case. And not only that, but compromising the job of whoever your informant is, because they're probably going to get in trouble now.
Yeah, I publicly don't like Lynn. I don't like this
I
old
publicly
state
don't
senator.
like this person that we've never met in our lives.
Publicly, I do not like this former state senator.
I just think it's very reckless. Like, if I heard information, which I have before, heard information about something that is not public, I would never share that information without permission from the proper channels.
Yeah. Well,
I'm
obviously
good
you're better
at
than
keeping
Lynn.
secrets.
You're
yeah.
obviously better than the former senator, Lynn.
Seriously. In May of 2020, 7 canine teams from Colorado, Montana, and Wyoming went to the area where Serenity went missing to search for not only her, but also for Larry. On October 1 of 2019, 66-year-old Larry Ginslinger was elk hunting with his nephew. This was near Sawmill Draw, 6 Mile, and Ditch Creek roads, and his family would report him missing at 7:30 p.m. But the search for him would not last long due to snow and conditions.
He was 5'9", 250 pounds, has brown eyes with gray hair and a gray beard. He was wearing a camouflage jacket and pants, and a black Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation baseball cap. But this search would yield no results.
None.
7 months after he disappeared, he would be found by a resident repairing a fence in the Deerfield Lake area, roughly 2 miles north of his last known location.
So this is like a grown-ass man who went missing in these woods. In these same woods that Serenity went missing. Like, grown-ass man gets lost, dies of probably the elements, I don't know for sure, but how much harder would it be to find a 9-year-old child in these same woods?
Harder.
In September of 2020, Serenity's adoptive mom, Darcy, hires a private investigator to try to take a fresh look at the case. But so far, that has yielded no new leads. Or no new leads that lead to anything, I should say.
So 2 employees in charge of Serenity that day were fired, although the on-call supervisor who had advised the employees to search longer on their own before calling 911 remained employed.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's her fault anyway. I mean, she went in once she got the call, but obviously didn't live very close or took her time. I'm not sure. But she did tell them to call police within 15 minutes, which they obviously didn't do.
Yeah.
So I do have some issues with Black Hills and how this was handled. But my biggest problem is how long they waited to call the police. Which not sure that would have made a difference, but that could have made a difference.
Yeah.
There are also reports of them searching the building first, which she ran outside, so I'm not sure why she did that. But remember, the first girl that took off actually did go into a building. So they could have thought these 2 kids were just like...
messing with them.
Yeah, just like messing around and taking off and trying to be difficult, right? The visitor that had seen Serenity by the road should have taken their search directly there and not into the buildings.
Yeah, for sure.
Obviously, I think. And then also, why was she off watch so quickly after trying to run away the week before? Because a child of that age doesn't usually change their mind about running away in a week's time.
No, I don't know. Maybe she convinced them.
Well, obviously she convinced them, but come on. I don't know. She still seems like a flight risk to me. But I don't know. It doesn't really sound like they were really trained for this type of situation. So maybe it's not something that happens very often. Because we have walkie-talkies on different radio stations.
Yeah.
We have, she takes off running, but the person in the gym doesn't take off after her. She stays in the gym with the other 2 kids. But they don't seem like they're at risk. They're in the gym. They're not taking off. They're not running. I might have followed her instead. But that might not be protocol either.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either.
And Serenity's bedroom is all set up for her, waiting for her to come home.
I really hope that they find her. I hope that this family's able to get closure, not just like both families. I mean,
yeah,
this is just a really difficult situation in general, and the not knowing. It would be so hard as a parent to just not know where your child is.
Just never know. Just never know where they are.
And there have been Serenity sightings, but none that have been able to be confirmed. So, yeah. That is the case of Serenity Dennard.
Yeah, I want to apologize once again for whatever episodes we get out or actually don't get out for better saying of things, because I literally have to leave in 20 minutes. Or 10 minutes.
I was going to say it's 10 minutes. Yeah,
I have to get up and run out of here.
Maddie's not even dressed yet.
No.
So
I haven't even taken my morning pee this morning.
Thanks for sharing that. Jesus. But we will try to get everything out eventually. If you need more material, go check out our Patreon. listen to some older episodes. I don't know. Sorry,
I'm
guys.
really sorry.
Well, thank you so much for tuning in. Let us know what you guys think about this case, and thank you. And we will hopefully you guys will hear from us very soon.
Hopefully, I hope so. I'm so sorry. It's my fault. I'm leaving for a week. I have a temperamental body. My body tries to kill me. I get sick all the time. I'm so sorry.
All right. Thanks, you guys, and we will see you soon.